G'day guys, my name is Trent, aka LaxLime, bringing you a Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. We've got MPL Battle Week 13 up against the... Oh, I'm going to say this wrong. I am from Australia, so I'm not 100% sure how this is pronounced, but is it Anaheim Altarias? I also am not recording on my normal software today because I upgraded to Windows 10 and it doesn't work. So it may sound a little bit dodgy, but we'll pass through it. I was pretty confident I'd be able to take this team down, just bringing the usual sort of Trick Room team, also with a banded Cloyster, to pretty much just wreck everything on his team. Pretty much the only thing that walls it is the Empoleon. So yeah, how about we just get straight in the battle and see how we go. So I actually lead off with my Cress as he goes into Heracross, which is the worst possible matchup for me, because if he ends up going for a knockoff or a Mega Horn, it's pretty much like Cress is going to be fairly useless. And Cress has been very useless in a lot of games lately. Useful, but very useless. I don't really care taking the knockoff from the Landorus because I'm just knocking off the Expert Belt, which I'm not, like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. It was really just a pivot anyway in this match, and just like to knock some stuff off and do all this cool stuff. I was able to knock off the Heracross's leftovers, which tell me this thing is defensive by the amount of damage that thing does, which is super cool, but super annoying as well, because a defensive Heracross is nothing to really laugh at. I decided to go for the U-turn here. The U-turn means I'm going to be able to switch out and go straight into Emboar without taking any damage whatsoever, and I can just easily hit that Flare Blitz button because it will do a decent chunk to pretty much his whole team. It even does like 50% to the Empoleon, so yeah, like that's pretty much perfect. He does end up staying in and sacking the Heracross off, which is great because that means this thing is out of the way. And then he will end up switching into his, what's the thing called? The Nidoqueen. So expecting like an Earth Power or something, I decided to switch out into Cress. Even if he went for anything else, Cress will be able to take any sort of damage from this Nidoqueen relatively well, so I was okay with that. And then at this point I can easily just start setting up some screens. I do go for the light screen first as he switches into the Raikou. The Raikou was actually like the one thing on the team that I was a little bit worried about, because if it ended up being Scarfed, then I'd have a little bit of problems, because no, you can't, like, it outspeeds everything. However, it is like a sub being one, sub Carmine I assume, and then I'm able to get the light screen and the Trick Room up, which is perfect. Because of those are up, I'm able to switch into my Venusaur, who is a physical Venusaur with Earthquake, which will definitely be able to break this guy's sub, as well as take sort of any moves from him as well, because it's got a lot of special defensive investment. So as you can see, when he goes for his next turn, Venusaur pretty much eats it up like it ain't no thing, and I am able to go for that Earthquake and break his sub. So yeah, I'm not really super concerned about this Raikou sitting here. You know what, if I had to pick an MVP on this team, it was definitely Venusaur. I didn't really expect Venusaur to be the MVP when I built the team, but it did a decent amount of, like, it put in a lot of work. Like, you'll see, it put in a lot of work. He does switch into his Latios here as I make a pretty good prediction and go for the knockoff, thinking that he probably would do this, and end up taking out the choice specs on the Latios and also doing a hell of a lot of damage. He does go into the Charizard here as I just go for the knockoff. A bit too risky going for the Earthquake, I thought, which does nothing, and also the dimensions are twisted back to normal. So I've got to switch out Venusaur, and my best bet to sort of go into on this Charizard I thought was my Landorus. I actually expected the Sword Dance on the first turn there, so I went for Sleep Powder as a bit of a risky prediction, really, but then I ended up missing the Sleep Power, so that sort of sucks. Landorus has really no use, so that's why I sort of went into him. I sort of was sacking him off because I wanted to free switch into something, so like I wouldn't take any Flare Blitz damage. The Landorus does end up going down from the toxic damage, not even the Flare Blitz, which was pretty cool. Good work. And I'm able to go into Cress here. I sort of wanted to set up a Reflect at least, and then try to get, we'll see if I can get both screens up and then go for the the Trick Room, because you know that always seems to work really well. I am able to do that, and then he does go for the Flare Blitz, which does, you know, like even like that's, he would be neutral because he went for the Sword Dance after he got intimidated, and then no, that's getting too confusing. I'll stop. But I did go for the Toxic there because I just wanted to dwindle him down so he couldn't stay in for long and set up on me, like if I wasn't able to take him out, sort of preventing any sort of sweep that he may attempt to go for. He does go into the Empoleon, which I can't do pretty much anything against, and Empoleon's actually one of those sort of Pokemon on his team that it is difficult if he's bringing what I think he's bringing, which is the defensive variants, or the bulky variants. But Venusaur is able to come here and pretty much wall the hell out of him, and I can easily just go for the what's the sleep powder, that's the one, and put something to sleep. We ended up being the Nidoqueen, which is cool. Definitely something that was good. He does switch it out straight away, as I believe I just went for the knockoff again, yeah, just in case he did bring in the Latias. So yeah, as I said, Venusaur putting in some work. Like he's really pulling it out here. And it's not, you know what, it's not every day that you see a Venusaur take down a like a Mega Charizard X, or X. Yeah, it's not every day that you see that, so that's really cool. Dementias are twisted back normal now, so I decide here to stay in and go for the Earthquake, hoping that'll be enough to put him down to a decent amount. I actually expected him to attack, but I knew that I'd have enough you know, health to be able to survive one, and the Earthquake is going to do a decent chunk to this Raikou, or at least break its sub if he decided to do the sub. At this point I was expecting the extrasensory, sorry, so I decided to go into Cresselia to pretty much eat the extrasensory up, and then the intent just to get one more Trick Room up, just so I can bring in Venusaur again and get some, you know, get it working. However, I do end up going down to the Thunderbolt, which is okay, I guess, because this thing isn't Scarfed and my Keldeo is. That means I do outspeed the rest of his team. I should have probably just went for Surf. It would have done a decent chunk to everything, but I did end up going for the Secret Sword. It probably would have ended the game a lot quicker if I just went for the Surf, but you know, it's okay. From here, I'm just going to switch straight back into the Venusaur, and I can go for the Earthquake, and which is, you know, it's going to do a decent chunk to this Nidoqueen. It ends up actually waking up on this turn, but the Sludge Wave, it actually does a decent chunk, but it's obviously not enough to be able to take out the Venusaur, which is cool. And yeah, Sludge Wave does come again, so Venusaur does go down, even though he does get a decent he put in some work. At this point, it's pretty much if I hit the Secret Sword button, I just end up cleaning up the game. So the Keldeo will just end up taking the remaining 3 Pokemon down, which is his Nidoqueen, his Empoleon, and his Raikou. He was packing a little bit of a surprise on his Empoleon with the berry. However, on the, like, he's not going to be able to do enough damage to a fully HP Keldeo anyway to be able to survive the next, like, couple attacks. So the Secret Sword on the next turn is going to be enough to take out the Empoleon, and then the remaining is just Raikou. It was actually a really fun battle against Mystic here. I enjoyed it. It was good. It's, I don't know, like, I think this was, like, I don't know, I'm on a bit of a win streak in this MPL. It's been fun. And I'm shooting for those playoffs, which will be good. If you guys enjoyed, you know, leave a comment, share, do all those cool things. And that's pretty much all from me. Show some love to the Washington Redskins, and I will catch you guys next time.